Our target here is to talk about psychology. We are here to understand what we really like. Just the question, why not me? Would you like to be this likable person whom everybody likes? Where is the golden middle? There are always people who like us, and there will be always people who dislike us. Hello, dear friends. Today we are starting our new cycle, which is called Blitz Psychology. It will include many statements which are based on psychological knowledge, but we are not going deep into them because our target is different. All the statements can be collected under one title. What do you need to know if you are not ready yet to go to your own psychologist for a session? So let's start. Let's go. Please pay attention to you or to those who make very categoric statements. Certainly we never judge by one time because things happen, and we should pay attention only when the person frequently, repeatedly comments something in a very emphatic way. For example, I hate fat people, or I hate cooking, it's a terrible weather, and every time he repeats this or that statement, any pinch of categorism leads to hidden problem or even trauma. That is why to all those statements we should be especially attentive. If we track them in ourselves, it's a very good field for contemplation and maybe self-analysis. Try to avoid, if possible, people who are nagging all the time, complaining, criticizing, mocking. They are not so miserable as they try to pretend. They display this victim game, and communication with them just steals your precious energy. At the same time, be quite cautious when you see this optimistic smugness, always smiling faces. No matter what is going on, what has happened, the person has a mask of a charming smile and never reacts to your words, to your situation. Check if you do it yourself. Because sometimes, yes, we can bear this social mask, and sometimes it's necessary we protect ourselves in this way. But we should really track our natural feelings. So an adequate reaction is when something good happens, we feel joy. When something bad happens, we feel sorrow and sadness, and it's quite all right to experience all these feelings. What to do with them further, this is already the other story. It's fantastic when you have so many hobbies, interests, passions, when all your days off are full of new activities, enthusiasm, and so on. But it's quite dangerous to get involved deeply into one field for a long time. If a person has been doing something intensively and only in one field, unconsciously he becomes narrow-minded. And any narrow-mindedness leads to fanatism. And fanatism is a hard state of the psyche, especially dangerous and sometimes really appalling, the religious bigotry. And unfortunately, this phenomenon can hardly be changed. My friends, are you aware of the fact that smiling has two ways effect. When do we typically smile naturally? When we experience joy, delight, when we are in love, when we are fond of something, then certainly our reaction is smiling. But have you ever tried to push yourself, to make yourself smile even when there is no obvious reason? Maybe the situation is quite opposite. You even want to cry a little. Try one day to do it, and you will notice that this mechanism works backwards as well. As soon as you start smiling, even artificially, very soon you will feel a better mood. You will feel some enthusiasm. You will feel some desire to go on and to do something actively. Why not to use such a simple tip? Try to be alert with those people who are so eager to tell you the truth every time they meet you. And they're eager to do it when you don't ask them. But appreciate, take care of those who are brave enough to tell you the truth when you ask them about it. They are very precious people in your life. You know that over-criticism has no benefit for you. It destroys your perception. It destroys your attitude to yourself. But a piece of constructive thinking is very helpful and helps you to register, to check your adequacy to the world. You can be doubtful. From time to time, we all are. But make sure that you know people around you to whom you can address for advice, for piece of information, and you know that these people will try to do their best to be objective, not to say something in order to hurt you, but they will be brave, courageous enough to pronounce the truth, the true words, which will really help you to change the situation if it's certainly necessary, and to avoid unnecessary sufferings or negative feelings. Don't take literally when somebody says, "I always tell the truth and nothing but the truth." If you think of it, you will realize that it is hardly possible, because since our childhood we have had imagination, and we can imagine fancy things. Besides, if you're aware of at least some of the recent researchers, you know that our brain is not such a simple thing, and there are many tricks which our brain can play with us. That is why we cannot be sure that we always say the truth. Besides, more social we are, more diplomatic we become. If there are people among us who really believe, firmly believe, that they always tell the truth, unfortunately, it's not a good sign, because the mentality of such person, his psychological development corresponds to the level of the 5-year-old child, because exactly at this age, children start making up stories, sometimes very interesting ones. But be responsible and try, at least try, maybe it's not possible, but try to tell the truth to yourself. Sometimes it's so hard, but it's so sane. And it's such a good incentive for your future development. It's good if you can trust someone so much that you can share this truth with him. For that purpose, find a professional interlocutor. Then any truth about yourself will be to your benefit. Professional listener, thus psychologist, can help you to use the truth about yourself for your benefit, for your development, and not for your sufferings and bad negative feelings. For those of you who would like to have personal consultation sessions with me, you are welcome. All my data you can find below, and get in touch with me, and I will try to do my best to understand you and find the way out with yourself together, certainly, out of your problem. See you soon.